Patrick Lalley has decades of experience covering politicians in both Iowa and South Dakota. He holds court on KSOO radio every weekday afternoon from 3 until 5, spending a lot of that time covering politics and talking to the candidates. Tonight he shares with us some of his insights on the races for South Dakota governor and U.S. House.
The primary in the Republican Party is closer than I thought it would be. Marty Jackley has executed himself pretty well in this campaign, and I think it's very close.
With primary day a little more than 2 weeks away, Patrick Lalley tells me the Republican primary race for governor could go right down to the wire. What may be a hindrance for voters, Lalley says, is the fact that Marty Jackley and Kristi Noem politically have a lot more similarities than they do differences.
They're both very conservative. Jackley has positioned himself as a very social conservative in terms of the issues that he pursued as Attorney General, the lawsuits that he signed the state up for. But they're both very solid candidates. They both have good constituencies.
But Lalley tells me there is an area where he believes Kristi Noem has the upper hand. Her on-the-ground campaign that she has utilized every time she has run for U.S. House. Those 2-year election cycles mean Noem has needed a dependable political grassroots network. And Lalley says he believes it is serving her well. What he does wonder, though, is if Republicans on Election Day will hesitate at all at the idea of a female governor.
I wonder about the role gender plays in that Kristi Noem has been elected several times in South Dakota, 3 times statewide, 4 times statewide. But the governorship is different. It is that top of the ladder job. And will mainline Republican voters in South Dakota think that a woman can be governor?
Past the primary and looking at the general election, Lalley says there are challenges ahead for Democrat Billy Sutton.
I think Billy Sutton has just a huge mountain to climb.
Lalley says Sutton is a quality candidate, but also says he may be lacking in a message that will catch voters' attention and keep it.
I don't know the Democrats in South Dakota have found their message. And I don't know what Billy Sutton's message really is. There's some openness in government issues, but Marty Jackley is very strong on these issues in terms of open government.
Turning now to the race for U.S. House, on the Republican side, it is a 3-way battle between Dusty Johnson, Chantel Krebs, and Neil Tapio.
Dusty, who has a very good campaign. He's very organized. He's financed.
Lalley believes Dusty Johnson has the upper hand in the Republican race right now for a couple of reasons. He has a track record in South Dakota politics and has run a statewide campaign before, so he is not walking into this as an unknown.
He is appealing to the mainline, traditional Republican voter.
Chantel Krebs also has a political track record and has sought statewide office, but Lalley says she may have some trouble ahead.
I think that where Chantel is going to suffer is that she's trying to she's sort of dipping her toe into the water of the very conservative base in the Republican Party, which is where Mr. Tapio is.
Lalley tells me as we come down to the wire for the primary, Krebs and Tapio may split that very conservative vote, which may end up benefiting Dusty Johnson at the ballot box.
She wants those Trump voters. And the problem is that for her, Tapio has a lot of those people because he was Trump's statewide director. He's associated with the Trump name.
One Democrat is seeking the U.S. House seat, former Judge Tim Bjorkman, and Lalley says, like Billy Sutton, he faces a party problem.
The problem for Tim Bjorkman is that his party is in such disarray.
Lalley says by the end of summer, Bjorkman needs to be presenting his message and his vision for what he wants to do in the U.S. House, and that he needs to be successful in that.
If he doesn't make inroads early, he won't get any national money. And if you don't get any national money in South Dakota, you've got a real problem because there's no state money.
And our thanks tonight to Patrick Lalley from KSOO Radio. We will wrap things up right after this. You're watching This Week in Politics on KSFY.